So now we're on to Scorpio. So going from here, we've decided to do kind of like a bungee jump style thing off the bridge, knowing that we're anchored into the pink bridge and we don't have to stay on this pink bridge because we've opened up our new dimensions of imagination. And in opening up the new dimensions of imagination, while anchored to our deepest heart connection, which is also pink, we're able to go into those child states of imagination while we're tethered to dive off into these purples here. And when we dive into these purples here, it takes us into Scorpio energies, Scorpio being the water sign. So we're talking about the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is about romance. In the traditional tarot, it's more like a romantic partner, but if we're just thinking of it as in ourselves, it's the romantic era. It's bringing like feeling all cozy and lighting candles at night for yourself and putting on some essential oil to burn or some incense to burn and laying down and just listening to some music and taking yourself into the romantic senses. So it's not about romancing as in a connection with another lover. It's about romancing yourself. It's like, you know, when you have your different generations as well. We're trying to think of maybe reading some poetry. So we would say, like, going back we don't know our generations well, but going back to an era that might be like, what are the films called? Where you've got Darcy and whatever, those backdated where you've got a lot of romance that goes on, maybe watching some romance period dramas. Because this is night turned dark in a troll, but we still don't fully understand what troll means. We think a troll is someone that does negative comments and things, but we're sure that some people are perceived as trolls on their commenting when really they're not trolls. They're just being them, and it's just a judgment and a criticism through the conventional understanding of the social etiquette of how people ought to be. But people with autism and people like us and our little uns, they're not trolls, but I know that we've been perceived as trolls sometimes. So because you've got connection to your deeper heart and your child state perspectives, and you're exploring the night with trust and faith and innocence, your inner troll it's not that it doesn't exist. Your inner troll isn't there because you've opened your mind to all perspectives, been able to see from bird's eye perspective, been able to see from all sides, been able to see up. And if you can see from all the perspectives, you know that a cylinder is a cylinder, even if the shadows create a circle or a square. They're both true. They're both shadows of the same object. So because our perception and the way we perceive and experience it and a whole new way of thinking in our mental body is changing, our emotional intelligence is growing, we're becoming more emotionally mature, then inner troll doesn't exist. Troll doesn't exist in a negative, from a negative perspective. When it's nighttime and when things are turned dark is when your glow in the dark stickers shine, when your glow in the dark nail varnish shines, when you can see the stars best, when you can see fireworks the best. There's so much magic and spark and catalytic imagery that we were talking about, the third eye before, that can stimulate that imagination to see and experience colours and patterns and connections and links differently, not needing to have a conscious mind, rational interpretation for it, because we've surrendered our conscious mind's need to know and understand, because then that allows more of the authentic creative juices to flow when in intuitive flow state, presence, nowness, isness, flow mo. and it's number 38, and 38 adds up to 11. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 again, you've got more Taurus energies and that divine masculine. So the feminine, divine feminine being the whole of the unseen and really overwhelming, we're going into the part of the unseen. So with your conscious awareness choice of setting the program for when you go to sleep at night, you can choose where to guide your night or your healing if you want to choose from a conscious choice, or you can just choose to say, we trust you, consciousness, we trust you, God, we trust you, body, we trust the collaboration of, allow whatever needs to take place in everyone's highest good, including us and Mother Gaia, so that you can be or do whatever it is you want to be or do, not as in be something, but be as in being present, as in being able to be still if you're someone that does too much, or if you're someone that's kind of too still and not getting the energy, being able to do. So you see, I hope you see where we're trying to kind of focus your attention here, that you've got the choice to do what it is you want to do. We've also got the 3s coming up in 37 in your Virgo, and 73 in your Sagittarius, but you've got your 8 coming up in your Pisces. So there's a bit from Pisces and a bit from Sagittarius. 2 3s together make an 8. So you've got the Sagittarius 3 and the Virgo 3 coming together to make an 8, but then you've got them on your own to make the 3, or you can have. So you can have your Virgo 3 and your Sagittarius 3 coming together to make an 8, and cutting your Pisces in half to make a 3. Or you can have half of each of the 3s in Sagittarius and Virgo and your whole 8 in Pisces, whatever that means. Maybe you've got 4 planets in Sagittarius and you're going to choose 2 of them. That's going to help you with something. We don't know what that means. It'll be interesting to see what that means down the line. I'm sure stuff will come up. These are reminding us of jellyfish as well. So not thinking of jellyfish in a dangerous sort of way. I'm not going to go in the water because there's jellyfish, but thinking if you've ever watched a wildlife program of the deep sea and you've got that most magnificent phosphorescence and colours and electricity shining through on the jellyfish, and you get so many different types and sizes. I'm sure there's some really interesting stuff about jellyfish, and something we have no idea what it is, but I'm sure there's some information we heard not long ago about jellyfish that was just like, magical and mind-blowing. So maybe, I don't know, researching a bit on jellyfish and seeing what comes up. There might be something like when you can open a book, like you've got a question to something and you can go to a book and open it up and there'll be something in the wording on that page of the book, something similar to that. But you're gonna, if you normally use Google, maybe use more of an eco-friendly search engine like Ecosia or DuckDuckGo that's more private, or maybe your Bing. Use a different search engine and type something in related to jellyfish and related to whatever it is you want the answer to, and see what comes up and what you're drawn to. So we're going to read the poem. And this is your violets and your purples now. So you still got your deeper heart with the pink. So you're still anchored to your deeper heart, but you are going up out of the funnel. You're crossing over the bridge from the seen tangible into the unseen, the intangible, up to the cosmos, to be able to go and get some kind of new cosmic energetics, to be able to cosmic energetics, I don't know, to be able to then, when you come in this, your dream time, your astral plane, so that then when you wake up and allow time, you allow yourself to chop wood, carry water, do the practical chores that you need to do, get outside in the garden, go barefoot, maybe do some sunrise or some sunset sun gazing, that then something might happen, and it might not necessarily come in for your conscious mind, but you might suddenly get inspiration or drive to want to start doing something you've not done before, or doing something that you have done before but you've not done for ages and you wanted to start doing again but it's not happened. Like maybe you make jewelry but you haven't made any for ages. Maybe you used to paint but you haven't painted for ages. And maybe it might just start naturally happening again. Darkness, like a mood, falls, suffocating as it engulfs all emotions, rupturing their splendor, shading all with the heavy hues of futility. A sudden compression that should be a lesson in depression, but it isn't. It loathes and demeans our dreams, not just yours, but those of others. Our inner trolls pose challenges, blocking our bridges out of the doldrums. Evoke the resolve from the lands of the midnight sun. Light will return and dissolve darkness. So for us, where we're at, that poem and those words are the past, they're gone. So I don't know what it is, how it's feeling for you, but if it does trigger any tears or emotions or stir up stuff, then we feel that's a really awesome thing, because you've opened the doors for those emotions to be stirred up. And when those emotions can be stirred up and get shaken, then it's shifting the energies, it's moving them about, and then you can purge them. You can purge them through dance, through movement. We haven't for ages, but we ended up having our activated charcoal to absorb toxins. We had our diatomaceous earth as well, and we had our collagen peptides too. So we've gone really back into all that good stuff again, which we haven't done for a little while. Not that I'm sure how long a little while is, anywhere from, I don't think it's as long as 2 weeks, but it could be anywhere from like 2 weeks to a couple of months, but I don't think it's quite that long. So yeah, I don't know if those words stand out for you, but to us, they don't. Resolve's already happened. This is something that's in the on the past timeline. But there's always layers and depths because it's Scorpio, and Scorpio is the pelvis, and there's always deeper places that we know that we've found this journey hard, because the deeper we go to our heart and the more we do the meditation and get deeper, initially it was terrifying, because as soon as we did that, we'd go into these younger states again, and as soon as we went into these younger states, then we went younger in the brain networks and we couldn't do anything, and then all our hard efforts of tidying the house and gaining a bit of kind of sanity, feeling like we'd gained a bit of sanity, suddenly went out the window, because suddenly we shifted again and gone really younger again, and our body got weaker and the pain got more. So there's always more layers to go through. And what we said earlier is there's going to be a lot of cosmic surges and intense energies coming up, which is going to impact collectives intensely so. And so therefore the energy is going to be amplified, and then we can harness that energy and use it to go to deeper depths, which may take us initially into the old senses of perceptions of inner trolls and the negative thought patterns, which then can make it really tired, make us really tired in our psyche and our body, because it's like, oh, we're going there again. I thought we can't do any more of this. We're just repeating the same patterns. We're just repeating the same cycles. And just to observe and go, okay, we hear you, we feel you, not to fight it off, not to resist it, because that's what we've done. And then it will be, of course, we're going through the same cycles and the same patterns and the same habitual thinking, because we're going around the spiral vortex into the center. And to get into the center of that spiral vortex, the wide bit into the narrow bit, to really condense the energies and really purge and push out the last bits of toxins, we're going to repeat those patterns and cycles. But what we've noticed is that when that happens, we're not in that dark patterning, those dark cycles, the dark thinking for as long, and they pass through quicker. And when we're in them, we're able to be in them and accept them and not spiral out of control. And for us, that spiraling out of control would normally go into suicidal ideation. So now there is still occasions where that will pop in, but it's just a brief glimmer. And like, I mean, what's it? We had the Stanley knives out not long ago, and one of us would just be kind of like, these would be perfect for doing a slit down the wrist. The blood will just come out. And it's like, why would you want to do that? You know, and start to question it, not resist it or push it away, because what we resist persists. We don't mean to get heavy there, but this is us on our healing journey, and we're still on our healing journey, and so we are still going to be talking about stuff like this. So we hope we don't upset or trigger. We're not going to do anything, and that's just giving an example. And for us, our examples are quite deep and dark and intense. So we apologize if we've upset or we've triggered, but we're not apologizing for us, and we're not apologizing for sharing. And if we have upset and we've triggered, then ask yourself, why are you so upset by that? Why are you triggered by that? Because there's some nuggets of gold in there. And we are becoming in a really sensitive PC world where we need to be sensitive, but we're getting to a thing where we're glossing over and not talking about subjects that need to be talked about, because when it's not talked about, it becomes stronger. And when it is talked about, it's not a taboo subject. If we keep stuff from our children and don't talk about things, it becomes a taboo subject, and they're going to more likely explore it or want to do it. Whereas if we just talk openly, because we perceive stuff, we want to protect them. It's like, no, we're protecting ourselves and the parts we're in denial about and the parts we fear in ourselves. The children are innocent. They haven't made any judgments or belief systems. They just get domesticated and programmed from our own belief systems. So if we think we're wanting to protect them, we're actually lying to ourselves, and the person we really want to protect is ourselves, whether it's protecting ourselves from the content of what we want to talk about, or the feelings that are going to be brought up from talking about, or having a new way of talking and expressing. There's something else behind it. There's an ulterior behind the scenes, hidden, which is all Scorpio energies, hidden something in that. And so we've been going to this, haven't we, Scorpio? We're on the night, we're on the fixed energies, we're on the nights. Scorpio is water, it's Knight of Cups. Did we say the Knight of Cups? So it may be that you want to go to that, you may have different tarot decks. You know, we're talking about dark stuff now, and the dark bits that reside inside that still pop up to say hello, and we want to make friends with them. So you may want to get, if you've got a tarot deck, you may want to get a tarot deck which has dark imagery or something, and a tarot deck that has your romantic light imagery, so they counterbalance each other. And there may be answers in the Six of Cups, Five of Cups, or Four of Swords imagery. And the dates for these are October the 13th to November the 22nd. So maybe if you have a social media account, you may want to go to those dates on your social media account. And it may be that you want to go back to 2011 or something, because 3 and 8 add up to 11, and you had the 11 over here as well, and we're in the fixed energies. And you've got 2 minus 4 minus 2 is 2, so you may want to go back to 2011 on the dates of that we just said, for October to November. And there may be something in a photo, or there may be something in a comment or word that comes up that can lift the veils to the denials which are causing these inner troll triggers. Wow, that was something that came out then, didn't it? And this has been turned over, and we've turned it upside down to start with. So we've gone into the Scorpio energies, the dark energies, the nighttime energies, but to go through the beauty of it, to get to the deeper depths of the inner troll triggers, to then be able to navigate and swim with them, because you made friends with them, so therefore they're not going to be your trolls anymore. What is it? Keep your enemies closer or something, and that external thing. But it's not about keeping your enemies closer because for ulterior motives, even though we were talking about ulterior motives. It's about keeping your enemies closer so you can get to know them better and make friends with them, because we're talking about the internal archetypal energies of self, because you've all got to share this one body. And it's about dancing in harmony, understanding all the different perspectives. Maybe they're an inner troll because they're better in their communication through the heart and the movement and body, and they're not very good with words, and the words they have aren't very good words, and they don't deliver them in the best way because they grew up in a dynamics where words were utilized in an abusive situation. But then you're coming into the fire now because you're burning off, you're going to burn off these energies so that they become lighter, so it goes more like steam, because we've got the ice. You're going to defrost the ice with the heat, with the warmth, so that the water can go from solid ice into a liquid and then into an evaporation form, so that the heavy stagnant feelings, the water retention causing the heaviness in the body, can lighten and evaporate, so that we get a lighter sense of feeling.